Matt and Laura back on SportsCenter. Time for Week in Review. And, of course, this entire week, a lot of the headlines have been dominated by what's been going on at Ohio State.
Yeah, especially with colleges reporting to camp this week. That's not what we're talking about. 5 Saturdays from today, Ohio State opens up their season in Columbus against Oregon State. Who will be their head coach is a question, Laura, no one has answers to. Urban Meyer remains on paid administrative leave while a committee investigates how domestic violence accusations were handled by Meyer against former assistant coach Zach Smith. For the first time since being placed on leave, Meyer weighed in yesterday with the statement. He said in the statement, in part, that he followed the proper protocols and procedures with the student athletes and did the same when learning of the 2015 allegations of domestic violence by Smith. Now, Meyer admitted he made a mistake at Big Ten Media Days by denying he knew anything, saying he was not adequately prepared to discuss the sensitive personnel issues with the media, and Ryan Day is the acting head coach in Meyer's absence.
LeBron James heading to L.A., of course, but he's left a special gift behind in Ohio. He opened his I Promise school this week in Akron, a school for at-risk children, and James knows what it's like to be an at-risk student himself. He says as a fourth grader, he missed 83 days of school while he and his mother moved from one couch or spare room to the next. So the school will start with 240 at-risk children, 3rd and 4th graders, with plans to expand to over 1,000 students. In addition to an extensive infrastructure meant to support the students, kids in the I Promise program will also have a chance to earn a full scholarship through the LeBron James Family Foundation to the University of Akron.
Well, I mean, we get the statistics and we get the names, and years from now, we see a lot of these kids go off and go off to college and start their own companies or give back to the community and things of that nature. It will make us all proud.
Football is back.
Laura, I know it's a small sample. I know Chase Daniel was a starting quarterback, but we had a rookie debut we're excited for, and it's football this week.
So good. So good. The Hall of Fame game happened between the Ravens and the Bears. We saw RG3 after a year away from football, and Lamar Jackson made his pro debut, and there were just 2 penalties for the new helmet rule. Not received that well all around. Sam Darnold signed and was greeted with a slow clap by his team. Rumors of the rookie being asked to sing in front of the team, if not yet to be confirmed. Darnold signing means Roquan Smith, the only rookie still holding out, and he's holding out because of language in his contract about that NFL helmet rule that we just heard. P.S. The Bears need to get this guy in camp. Earl Thomas finally explaining his pay me or trade me stance Thursday in an article on the Players Tribune. Thomas says he deserves to be paid as a Legion of Boom member standing. He's the only one still standing, and implying he took a discount to keep the team together in the past.
Now to UFC, kind of a weird situation. We've been waiting to find out what was next for Conor McGregor. We now know Conor McGregor's fate. He's going to step back into the octagon. It's going to be in Las Vegas. It's going to happen in the fall, and we are going to see Conor McGregor make his return to UFC. He's going to take on Khabib Nurmagomedov in Vegas in October, rather not September. Our Ariel Helwani called Nurmagomedov the most dominant force in the history of the sport.
There we go. Major League Baseball trade deadline had some fireworks, but not as many as it could have, like if Bryce Harper would have been traded. Chris Archer's Pirates debut was eventful. He needed 42 pitches to complete the first 2 innings Friday night, earning him an early exit in the 5th, but he did get a standing O, and his new squad won. Brian Dozier, just one more reason the Dodgers lineup may be the scariest in baseball. He was added at the deadline, and he just keeps launching bombs in L.A. Just a couple nights ago, the Dodgers lineup hit for the home run cycle. Power for days. And Cole Hamels looked like Phillies Cole Hamels in his Cubs debut, which is exactly what the doctor ordered. If he can keep that up, just imagine the National League battle of Cubs versus Dodgers. I'm here for that one. J.A. Happ making his debut, too, and the Yankees need him to be awesome because their starting pitchers have been on the struggle bus lately. Unfortunately, he got hand, foot, and mouth disease. So after a solid debut, he's on the DL, and they could certainly use him against the Red Sox right now, that's for sure. Now, Noah Syndergaard can actually speak to this. He says the trade no one predicted. Of course, he recently dealing with hand, foot, and mouth disease himself. So who knows what happened there if they actually gave it to each other, but not good either way.
No, it wasn't, Laura. And speaking of Twitter, it wasn't a great week to have past tweets unearthed for some players around baseball. The Nationals' Trey Turner had tweets come back from college in 2011 and 2012, and they resurfaced, which way he made racially insensitive remarks as well as making fun of gay people. Same for Brave Sean Newcomb and the Yankees' Sonny Gray. Turner and Newcomb have apologized for their insensitive remarks, and Gray called his as a fraud.
Urban Meyer releasing this statement via Twitter on Friday. Here is the truth, he says. While at the University of Florida and now at The Ohio State University, I've always followed proper reporting protocols and procedures when I've learned of an incident involving a student-athlete, coach, or member of our staff by elevating the issue to the proper channels. And I did so regarding the Zach Smith incident in 2015. I take that responsibility very seriously, and any suggestion to the contrary is simply false. The power of what I say and how I say it, especially regarding sensitive and serious domestic issues, has never been more evident than now. My words, whether in a reply to a reporter's question or in addressing a personnel issue, must be clear, compassionate, and most of all, completely accurate. Unfortunately, at Big Ten Media Days on July 24th, I failed on many of these fronts. My intention was not to say anything inaccurate or misleading. However, I was not adequately prepared to discuss these sensitive personnel issues with the media, and I apologize for the way I handled those questions.
As you are well aware, opinions from this ranging far and wide. I want to bring in our Greg McElroy, college football analyst, joining us this morning via telephone. And McElroy, between the Zach Smith interview and the Urban Meyer statement, there was plenty to digest with the Ohio State scandal yesterday. Where are you this morning with these latest developments?
Well, it's good to be with you guys. And I started this process on Wednesday thinking that there is a 99.9% chance that Urban Meyer's tenure in Columbus is done. After yesterday, in reading that statement probably about 6 or 7 times, I'm feeling as though that number is probably hovering around 75 or 80%. Now, I feel like yesterday the statement was more about Urban Meyer trying to change the narrative of what people are saying about him. Also, it was an opportunity for him to talk about the fact that he went through the proper channels when finding out about the 2015 incident, and he basically put the onus on Gene Smith, the athletic director for Ohio State. So he kind of deflected some of the blame while absorbing the blame for lying at media days, but saying that basically when it comes to his employment, he's done everything above board. So I found yesterday very fascinating with how he deflected the criticism and the focus not off of him and putting it more on the administration and the people above him. Yeah,
it was kind of bizarre. You had Zach Smith supporting his boss who fired him, and then you had Urban Meyer essentially throwing his current boss under the bus because saying that he did everything he could. And what Urban did is he essentially admitted to knowing about the accusations of domestic violence against Smith in 2015 and then admitted to lying to the assembled Big Ten media a couple of weeks ago. So now, Greg, we have this issue of credibility with Urban Meyer. Where is his credibility with you?
Well, it's certainly shattered at this point. And what I don't understand, and we knew that this was a story, you knew that Urban Meyer was going to be asked about it at media days. And even in his statement, he says, I was unprepared by answering a question about said incident. How does that make sense? We're talking about one of the greatest coaches, one of the greatest tacticians, one of the smartest people in the coaching industry, and yet he was unprepared. Now, I look at Urban Meyer from a football coaching perspective. I think he's terrific, but from a credibility standpoint, all is lost with me. So I know that more information is going to come out. I know that we have kind of just started to hit the tip of the iceberg when it comes to what the perspective is from Urban Meyer, Zach Smith, Courtney Smith, and Shelley Meyer, who we've still heard absolutely nothing from, and I think is a huge player in this case. So there's still a lot more to find out, but I'm feeling more and more today than I did 3 days ago that Urban Meyer actually could be back in Columbus, which I find just utterly shocking.
Greg McElroy, we appreciate your perspective this morning on SportsCenter. Some other news happening overnight in the world of sports, or late last night. On Monday, LeBron James told Rachel Nichols that sports are supposed to bring people together, not divide them. On Friday night, in an interview aired on CNN, LeBron told Don Lemon that Donald Trump, the president, is, quote, using sports to kind of divide us. That prompted this tweet from President Trump. The CNN interview came after LeBron launched his new elementary school in his hometown of Akron. The president and LeBron have had a number of back and forths over the last 2 years. In the tweet, Trump appeared to weigh in on the LeBron versus Michael Jordan debate. As of this morning, LeBron has not responded.